Mob Psycho is a fantastic show with beautifully animated action sequences balanced with goofy, doofy-ass humor that is perfectly paced between 12 episodes. It's in this show that I find examples of positive masculinity, which is something you don't see often, or maybe it's just not talked about often enough. Either way, I'm going to talk about it now in this video. Also, I just want to say that the video examples that I use in this video are all of the first season. The second season isn't bad or anything. I love the second season. It's just that I couldn't find any usable footage of it for this video. Sorry, guys. Little breakfast coming back. Anyway, hype for the third season. So before I talk about positive masculinity, what is the opposite? What is toxic masculinity? Well, if you haven't been on Twitter or social media, you may not know. I envy you. The textbook definition is a adherence to traditional masculine values, such as suppressing emotions, maintaining a rigid composure, and using violence to obtain power. Simple definition, being an asshole. It really puts men into boxes, and anything that is outside that definition of what it is to be a man, you're gay. You have a skincare routine, you're gay. You wear glasses, you're gay. You eat dessert, that's gay. Remember when straight dudes discovered personal grooming and color coordination, and we as a society would not allow that to happen? So we called it metrosexuality. We could have progressed as people, okay? Off topic. Anyway, back to Mob. The premise of the show is about Mob, who is a kid with insanely overpowered psychic abilities. So much so that he has to control his emotions in order to prevent his powers from escaping. This doesn't have to do with anything with the definition of toxic masculinity that I mentioned earlier, but I'll get into that later. He does not abuse these powers or give into ego thanks to his mentor, Reigen Arataka. He is a con man, plain and simple, but with a heart of gold, as he instills within Mob a strong sense of morals. He is one of the examples of positive masculinity in this show, and he is a king. I'm sorry, Curtis, you are wrong. Reigen Arataka is a king. Reigen runs a shady business where he poses as a grand master psychic. Mob is his one and only employee, and while he is undoubtedly exploiting this kid for his actual abilities, he does truly care for him and his well-being. As I said, he instills within Mob a strong sense of morals that is the heart of the show. Having special talents or abilities does not make you special. It's what matters the most is how you use those abilities. With great power comes great responsibility. This is contrasted with the villains of the show being adults who act like children. They're entitled, arrogant, and believe themselves to be superior. While these aren't characteristics that are associated with toxic masculinity, I would say that immaturity is at its roots. If you are an immature piece of shit, you're not going to be open-minded to men who don't fit the mold. By far, the best example of positive masculinity in this show is none other than the Body Improvement Club. These guys are kings. All of them. Mob joins them over the Telepathy Club because he wants to impress his crush. Chicks dig muscles, right? The pack of bros don't deny him and never once shame Mob for his lack of athletic ability or his frail composure. They are constantly encouraging him even on the smallest of accomplishments, and watching men build each other up like this, it's better than porn. I mean, this is the true male fantasy. In the fourth episode, a delinquent named Tenga tries to recruit the club to aid in the fight against a rival school gang. They refuse as they're mostly pacifists. However, Tenga tricks Mob with a poorly written love letter that only Mob could be fooled by, and uses him as bait for the Body Improvement Club. This actually works, and they are ready to throw some hands for their little buddy. The head honcho of the rival school is Teruki, who also has psychic powers, but has never met his match before. While the Body Improvement Club is on their way out with Mob in tow, Teruki easily trounces them using his abilities. Surprisingly, the bros are only impressed and feel aberration when beaten. They unknowingly think that it's because of hidden muscles and not his psychic abilities. This reaction is something I personally find charming because accepting defeat graciously, king shit. That's some real king shit. Later on, Teruki desperately tries to get Mob to fight back using his psychic powers, only to get exactly what he ordered, hot and ready, and his world is destroyed. He is savagely stripped of his pride, but comes to realize that acknowledging the bigger fish isn't a weakness, and later on becomes an ally. I love this trope in shows, by the way, when a bad guy turns ally. Love that shit. A few more episodes on, Tenga is accused of being perverted enough to steal the tips of the girls' flutes to look them up. Num num num. It's a setup by this piece of shit. But Tenka realizes afterwards that it is a setup, but it doesn't matter because he realizes his peers have been looking for an excuse to ostracize him for a while. He decides to become a better person and joins the Body Improvement Club. Of course, they accept him, and he uses his hot-headed, blooded energy to good use. Now, the positive masculine aspects do carry on in the next season. The Body Improvement Club continue to be kings. They don't ever stop being kings. Mob and Reagan have a third act friendship fallout somewhere in the middle of the show when it comes to light that Reagan is exposed for being a fraud. However, Mob forgives him, and it's a scene that make me cry. So while having great fight scenes and humor, the positive masculine figures in the show make it a gem. Do I recommend it? Of course I fucking do. I just made a whole video about it. Even if you don't give a shit about this positive, toxic, masculine stuff, just watch it. It's a good show. If you know any other anime, comics, books, movies, whatever, that have positive masculine figures, please leave them in the comments. I would like to hear about them. Although Aragorn from Lord of the Rings, that's a free space. We all know about him and dream to be any bit a fraction of who he is. Shout out to executive producers Bill Radovich and, of course, the newly inducted Ray Cola. Thank you very much for the shirt, too, by the way. This is a really fucking amazing. She's got an Instagram. She cosplays. She's awesome. Check it out. Also, check out my Instagram and Patreon if you want to support the channel. Thank you very much. Happy holidays to all who watched this video. Thank you very much.